Well, we can speak now to Paul Scully, Conservative MP for Sutton and Cheam, who was also from the Leave campaign. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, Nikki.
Who's in charge of the government at the moment?
Well, look, David Cameron's in charge of the government. In terms of the EU and negotiations there, it's really important that we all get together today. We've had a weekend of analysis of the results and these kind of things, but we do need to come together very, very quickly in order to run the country, in order to give confidence, because not just for the markets, but also for people as well that have got concerns. Because
a vacuum left by David Cameron creates that uncertainty. It's foreign investors that we need to be concerned about too, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I spent the Friday after the results, part of it talking to people from big companies, of also working out how I can best help in my little way as a backbencher, bringing together some people from Middle East investors, Chinese investors, Indian investors, etc., along with members of Parliament, to show now the result is out the way, now the debate is out the way in many ways, how we face reality, how we actually move forward and offer confidence. So
are the vote leave promises unravelling? I mean, £350 million a week to be spent on the NHS and immigration controls?
No, they're not. I think what was happening in the debate, the Leave campaign set out their views. They were saying that it was 350 million quid gross, it's £10 billion net. We're going to get, we will have money coming back to this country that we can control. And then it's because it's always the government of the day that works out how that money is spent. We always said we're giving the government a mandate. We're not offering an alternative manifesto because we're not a government.
What's the Brexit plan now, then?
Well, the Brexit plan now is that you have, and there was always one, moving forward. We need to give confidence to the markets, as I say. We need George Osborne and others to be able to speak firmly. I know George is speaking this morning.
But he said there was no plan just a week ago.
Yeah, but this is who's saying there wasn't a plan?
George Osborne.
Well, what I'm saying is that George Osborne, that was in the heat of the campaign. George Osborne needs to give confidence to the markets when he's speaking this morning. We've already had Mark Carney, the Bank of England, and the stock market certainly settled on Friday afternoon. But then David Cameron's going to an EU summit this week, and that's somewhere where we need to take soundings. We need to take soundings now. As I say, the post-referendum reality starts to sink in. People need to understand that, and we need to work out how we move forward. We could then have a period of informal negotiations. We always said that you don't need to invoke Article 50 the day after. Although David Cameron was saying, oh no, I'm going to press the button the day after, he didn't. We said he didn't need to. And now we can have a period when we're actually not rushing into things. Nothing needs to change in the very, very short term. Let's take our time, make sure we get it right, and get the best deal for Britain. And it's important that we all come together now, whether it's Leave or Remain, to say, right, okay, fine, we've had the result, we are leaving. How do we actually make it work for everybody in this country, for all sides of the divide, and bring everybody back together again?
Do you think Boris Johnson is the man to lead us through this?
I actually, and it's not just because I'm saying this because I'm on air, I've deliberately not allowed myself to worry about the leadership campaign. What we've got now is a period.
Is that just your way of sitting on the fence?
No, actually, no, it's not. What it is, it's actually, I realise that we are going to be selecting someone for the first time in years as a Conservative Party. We're not just selecting the next leader, we're selecting the guy that's going to be walking to number 10 the day after he gets, or she gets selected and elected. So it's a big responsibility. So what I want to do is make sure that it's not just the Conservative Party looking in on ourselves, that the process goes through, that I look outside. So, I really like Boris. I helped him get elected as mayor, and he was my mayor for 8 years as a London MP and a London member. But we need to look at what happens in the Midlands and the north of the country. That's something that I don't have a huge amount of experience being a London MP. So I really want to look at that. So I know Boris would be a great Prime Minister. Theresa May would be a great Prime Minister. All of the other people that are starting to talk about. We've got a lot of talent in the party.
Who else is starting to talk about it?
Well, to be honest, it's a lot of the stuff I'm just seeing in the media. I've been down in my constituency pretty well since the election. I think today will be the day when we're all back together again, effectively after the referendum. So I guess the chatter will start at the moment. But I'm just seeing what you guys are putting out in the media, frankly.
What impact do you think the Leave vote will have on London?
Well, I know it seems to be that, and especially social media, which tends to magnify people's feelings. It seems to be that some people are sort of almost going through the 7 stages of grief, which I don't think is particularly helpful in terms of how we actually move forward. We've got to be really positive about this and grasp the opportunities that this gives us. But we've got to be mindful of the fact that 48% of people didn't vote to leave the EU. So that's why I'm saying we've got to make a really big offer, a big call to bring everybody into the tent now and make the most of this. But there are people concerned. I've read, as others have, about the situation on the Polish War Memorial and people's concerns about extremists and bigots having a go at people who have done nothing but just not been born in this country, and that's ridiculous. There were good people in this country on Thursday afternoon. They are not bad people now just because of a result in a referendum. We've got to make sure that those people feel very, very welcome in this country and the positive contribution that they've given to our economy and to the culture of London in particular. And
how do people in the Sutton and Cheam area feel about the outcome of the vote?
Well, I think it's mixed as others. I mean, Sutton voted to leave. It was one of the London boroughs that voted to leave, 54-46. So quite a significant gap, their margin there. And so there are people that are actually delighted that they're going to be able to tackle immigration in a fair way. They're going to be able to trade with the rest of the world and have a greater sense of decision making back here with accountable politicians. But there are people, as I say, that have expressed concern, and I want to make sure that over the coming days I work with as many of those people as I can to, as I say, make a plan work for them.
Paul Scully, thank you for your time this morning. Paul is the Conservative MP for Sutton and Cheam.
BBC Radio London.